stakeholder lead who from the business is coming and raising that request for enhancement, whether it could be IICS, whether it could be Denodo, or it could be OAC, or it could be OSB. Okay, and they come and raise a request, and basically we solution them in our respective technologies. And you all members will be called as team members. Okay, whereas the Scrum Master is like a lead kind of person who will basically get the daily updates from you, like how much is completed and what is pending. And the main part of it is called as impediments. Okay, impediment is nothing but like a blocker, like what are the blockers for today, what are the impediments for today. So if I am doing a build, I don't have the database username password. If I am doing a build, I don't have the val environment details. They come and say, Venu, I don't have, not Venu, the Scrum Master, like be it like Sharat or Seta. Venu, I don't have the Sharat and Seta, I don't have these details. What these guys will do, they will, if they can resolve the issue, they will try to do that. If suppose they need the help of a business manager, I mean the success stakeholder lead, or if they need somebody from the product owner team, right, they will schedule a call and make sure the impediments are mitigated. Okay, you need to use a word called as impediments. Impediment is nothing but blockers. You can't go proceed further. Okay, and sometimes in the daily scrum call, actually it should happen very fast, like a 5-minute update. It is not like half an hour what we are doing. If the team is matured enough, they can call it out. For example, I am providing my daily update. I started my build, I completed 50%, and 50% is there. So far, no blockers. Okay, I'm done with my update, and if I'm done with my update, I can drop or I can stay till the end of the meeting. Okay, usually like 5 to 10 minutes is the time taken for conducting a scrum call. Okay, and if at all I need to spend more time with Sharath on a particular service, right, he want to see the code and suggest something, right, I want to talk about my blocker, there is something called as meet after. Okay, you guys can say like I'm stuck with a blocker, Aparajita, can we do a meet after, I will stay in the call. And then like the rest of the members like Danish or somebody, some XYZ members, they're updated, they drop off of the call. And it should not be like the main intention of Scrum, right, we don't want to do like the same SDLC life cycle, right, wasting a lot of time in terms of meetings. Okay, the main intention is you should be able to complete the daily update in 5 to 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes. Okay, that's how it should be run, ideal way of doing. We are not yet there. Okay, we are not matured enough. I am calling it out very clearly. Why? Because we are evolving and it will take some time. Okay, ideal way of running a scrum meeting is that like 5 to 15 minutes we should be able to done with our updates. Okay, if at all you are getting a time, right, I would say search for something, a word called as high performing team in safe agile. High performing team in safe agile. Okay, thanks guys. Yeah, go ahead, Avjita. Sorry, I have taken it.
Yeah, thanks, sir. No, so, okay, we saw about the essential part of what is safe, and coming to the large solution. Basically, large solution development is called a large solution when uh, it takes at least 9 months or 10 months to complete the outcome of that requirement. So it usually expands across 2 or 3 PIs, and the portfolio solution is like it is implemented across the organization wide, and it usually lasts across 1 to 3 years. So this is how the safe is divided into these 3 parts. And as Venu was explaining about the human technical agility and also the agile product delivery. So these are the 7 core competencies of SAFe. These are the main centric process where each each principle, each activity is involved, is separated across this process. So, and also the core values are these are the things, and the roadmap which will have a complete process of start from the gathering of requirements to the delivery of the solution. So this is like high level outline of what SAFe is. And coming to topic creation, Rohan, maybe you can take care.
Yeah, I'll take, yeah. So, you okay, on the slide, I'll just, okay. So, guys, so this is, I know like most of you guys must be now familiar with creating epics, right? So this is just a refresher, what to do for those who have later joined newly after our previous session. So like right now, whatever we learned from Vikas, like the Scrum, Agile, Kanban, the whole same principle. So we have to bring it somewhere, like to follow it and practice that, right? So Jira is where we are doing it, and it starts from here, creating an epic. So let's see, make it sure, like right now, most of these epics are created by Scrum Masters and POs, but it can be helpful for you in later time, in upcoming time, when you are asked to create epics, and you should be aware of, okay, what are you going to fill it, and why would you be filling these details. So like I would
Maybe
also walk you through.
Rohan, before that, right? I will say one introduction. Okay, an epic is nothing but see, we all used to work in SDLC life cycle, right? Software development life cycle. We used to get a requirement, and then somebody will analyze, and they will talk about the technical design, and then we do the build, and then unit testing, sit where prod. These are the life cycle things. Okay, the same thing we are trying to fit it into the even the agile part also. Maybe like with the shorter work we commit on that. Okay, and epic is nothing but is like an OAC project, or it could be like an IICS project, or it could be like an MFT project, or it could be like an Leonardo project. Okay, epic is nothing but we create one heading. Okay, syncade to, or maybe EBS to syncade project. Okay, epic is how you want to describe it, that got a different naming convention, which our Rohan will explain that. Epic in a layman terminology, who is not sure about what is epic, right? Epic is like nothing but your project in Jira. Okay, CAP is implemented in Jira. Okay, though Jira is like what we are learning, right? Sorry, though SAFe is what we are learning, scaled agile is what we are learning, it is implemented in Jira. So if at all I need to talk about a project, right? A project is nothing but we call it as an epic. Okay, the kind of work you do, right? For example, you had an IICS project. Okay, what you will do first, the name itself says that ETL project. ETL means you will extract the data from the source system. Okay, and then you will transform and you will load the data into the target database. So extraction is one user story, transformation is another user story, and loading is another user story. And in OAC, okay, you say EBS to syncade. You say build a OAC service, standalone OAC service is one user story. The complex transformation you are building is another user story. Okay, and the error handling you do is one user story, and logging what you do is another user story. And testing design is done by the tester, that is a different user story. And unit testing what you do is a different user story. We break it into small computable units, that is called user story. Okay, that is what is like basically how we implement. Okay, so basically when I talk about a so far you are not explained PA, right, Rohan and Vikas?
No,
No.
here
Okay.
we have not covered PA, like we
Okay,
like
leave the PA part. Okay, then you will have, ideally speaking, right? You will have ideally speaking, you will have 6 sprints or iterations. Okay, we should not use the word called sprint. Sprint is the agile terminology. If at all I have to use the scaled agile, okay, agile. You might, some of you guys might have worked in an agile project. Okay, what is safe means scaled agile. Okay, the agile only. Maybe we are doing with a bigger team with a bigger deliverable across the enterprise. Right, that is what scaled agile. Okay, so ideally speaking, in each program increment or PA cycle, what we do is we will plan the data work for 6 sprints. Or for you to understand, I am using the word sprint, but it is an iteration. So each iteration will have 10 working days, which is spanned across 2 weeks. Okay, Monday to Friday 5 days, and Monday to Friday 5 days. So I have 10 working days, which is called as a sprint or an iteration. So you will have 6 iterations for each PA. Okay, so that's how they are planning the work for 6 iterations. How we are going to deliver the project. First iteration I might do the build, second iteration I might do the build, third iteration I will do the sync and UAT. Okay, fourth iteration I will do the prod deployment, fifth iteration I will do the hypercare. That's what we are going to plan it up. Okay, but for the tracking purpose, they have built something called as a Kanban board, which will go in detail, but this is what will go across. Okay, the major terminology I just explained you, but if you have any questions, you can definitely raise them up. Okay, yeah, go ahead with us how to create Jira.
yeah. So I took the screen now.
Yes, Ron.
Okay. So here, starting with epic creation, right? So like I've mentioned, like there are like a couple of ways where you can create epic. You can use create button on the top, like here, or also you can go to the Scrum boards. Like if you are creating a epic under any Scrum board, you can go there, and you will see an epic vertical. So here you can click on Epic Create here. So there are a couple of ways. So whenever you're creating Epic, so make sure the Epic name that you give, right? It is like short and sweet. Like when like for example here, I have opened one Epic of GTM. Like it says the Epic name is 5 9 failure. So whenever any at leadership level or your when you're looking at Kanban, so the epic name is not going to populate. Like all you're going to see is the summary. Like what is the epic summary? So you have to narrate it in such way that it gives you an idea of what this epic is. Like here, add failure capability for SMS texting interaction through 5 9. So when you go to a Kanban, right? So that is what you're going to see here. When you open the Kanban board, so you're going to see the epic name here. Sorry, the epic summary. So what it says, what is the epic about? So make sure you narrate it in such a way that it describes your epic name. And SSL lead is someone who is representing from business, who brought this requirement to you, and who is constantly in touch with the POs, your Scrum Masters, in terms of requirements or anything, right? So you're going to fill his, add his name here so that it stays most of the SSL will have access to Jira, or you may have to suggest them to raise a request with Jira Data Center and have their access, created and added here to the Epic. And then you come here to the business value, time criticality, RROE. So these things you don't have to worry about. Like these are something which SSL will provide or the PO will provide. So these are, you can gather the information from, or even get in touch with the Scrum Masters, so they will be able to help you out. And the story point, it doesn't have to be exact time. Like you can on a high level, like based on your lead, or a say like a lead developer who is in your team, you can take their help and get an estimation of what is the approximate time it might take, like for this epic to fulfill. So that is the point you're going to give here. And then group name is a must. So as for us, like for ES project, ES project, so the way that we have configured our Jira in terms of reporting or in terms of filters, so we have added group name as a condition. So where this is a must. So if we miss out on adding groups, the whatever you created epic or maybe story, so it will be in Jira, but it may not be accountable. It may be while you're reading the report, when you are filtering out on closed cases or done cases, or in progress cases. So you may those particular epic may not appear. So to avoid such things, so make sure you always add group based on which tower that epic belongs to. And benefit of hypothesis is you have to briefly enter like what is the purpose of your epic. So something I would want to show you in one of I think I can show you one good example, like which I have done. So here, okay, so look at this. This is one epic, and you can just go through this benefit of hypothesis. It just shows, tells you that what is the purpose of doing this, like the reason why we have this epic. So it describes you like in a quicker read. Anyone who reads it, okay, then you'll know why is this epic, what is the purpose of this epic. So that is what you're going to fulfill here. This also again is something you can get it from. Yeah.
Rohan, your screen is stuck. Can you check once?
What do you see in my screen? Like
We can see corps come board.
I see EIS corps printing to print.
oh, is it? Oh, sorry. Now.
Yeah, it is.
Still the same.
Sorry. Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
We can see the TP towers.
Okay, so what I was showing guys was, yeah, the benefit of hypothesis, right? So this is something Cecil can who would be the best person to write this up for you. Like, what is the purpose of an epic? So
Hello?
you can get, hello,
Yes, Rohan, now we can see the screen, sorry.
okay. Coming to the next slide. Okay, so then is the description. Like, elaborate a little about what it takes for the epic to fulfill, like, in terms of smaller stories. So there is a format that, like, that we follow in stories, right? Which I'll talk about it in the coming slide. So you will have to describe what is this epic, like, what would it take for the epic to fulfill, and you have to mention that in such manner, like, you can take it. I would again take the display format. So describe what is the project about. Like, serialization data is sent by local 3P Dispro to Biogen, and this data is used to proceed the Oracle Fusion for tracing integration. So give a high level. Just don't put one liner. Like, add in some certain, like, about like 50 words, like, so that it's easy to understand what the epic is all about. Okay. And the acceptance criteria. When would you or your product owner will think this is fulfilled? Like, when would you accept this epic is fulfilled? At upon completing what, or upon achieving what, that I am accepting this epic is done now. So given a description, so we have, you can also look into a couple of towers where, in case if you are not sure or confident on what to write, you can always reach out to your scrum masters, or the VAs, or take help of any other colleagues, who can help you look into, refer to the other epics and try to write it up in the same manner. So that you can maintain uniformity across all the towers, across the epics, where how it is written and followed. And here, and after that, the label is another important thing that you have to pick based on the tower that you are creating the epic. This again is added in most of the filters and conditions, and, like, which can help us or the leadership, at the level when they are fetching the reports, right, to bring in that particular epic and story. And then click on create. So once you are done with that, so this is, we are going to moving forward to creating story. So when you're creating story, there are two ways. So when you're creating from here, you have to always make sure that you link the epic to that story. So because this is the public button, from here the epic will, it won't fetch which epic it is. You'll have to specifically mention what epic this story should fall under. But if you are going under an epic, say this is an epic, if you are using this button, like add issue here, you will notice that the epic link would have already fetched. Like, you see, enable track and trace analytics for Argentina market, so you don't have to worry about it. But when you are using this button on top, right, if you don't add this epic link, then there are chances that you may not be able to locate where your story went, and it will be in Jira somewhere lying around, but we'll have to find and search or look into history, activity history, and then fetch that up. So again, coming to the story is just like the way you update the epic. So give a short identifier, like what is the, like, the summary of what the story is. Like, example, loading DA file to iHub, or testing, test execution in UAT, or documentation for UAS extract, anything like. So the story, the moment you read